everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Emma. If you haven't been here before, a very warm welcome to my funny little corner here in Cumbria, which is the Lake District in the northwest of England in the UK, and it's a joy to welcome you here. I hope you've had a good week. I've certainly had a good week, which I will tell you all about. It's been a very exciting week because I've been away, and that's kind of a rare thing around here. Because my husband and I are now kind of working more flexibly, we're actually able to go away in term time because he's been a teacher for many years, and we couldn't really go away except in the school holidays. So to have a holiday away at the beginning of May has been just amazing. It's been just amazing. So I'll tell you all about it. If I can do that in the short space of time that we're here together, I will do what I can. So yes, here I am sitting here in my new channel. I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's over a month and a half since I changed what I'm doing here, and I hope that you're enjoying what I'm doing. I'm trying to just talk about life and make something interesting and something relaxing for you here. My old videos were very much all about creativity and making and showing you what I was doing in my studio, because if you don't know me, I am a textile artist, or an artist. Actually, I'm not even calling myself a textile artist these days. I'm just saying I'm an artist, and I'm a creative, and I'm sure many of us are creatives. It doesn't have to be art. It could be, you know, creating a garden, just creating your life every day. You know, all the different things we do in our day that help create who we are and what we're doing. So yes, today I just thought I would sit down, tell you about my holiday, and talk a little bit about the joy of going away somewhere different. It's been absolutely wonderful to have a change of scene. I am so blessed to live where I live. I absolutely know that. I feel like a millionaire, honestly. I look out when I drive home, or when I look out of my window or step out of my back door, I feel like a millionaire because I live in the countryside in a very peaceful place, and I'm so grateful for that, especially when you go out into the world and you see, you know, the busyness and the traffic and everything, and that's what you get when you go on holiday. You have to kind of intersect with that much more than I do in my sort of daily life. So that's what I'm doing. You know, here I live peacefully, but I have to go out into the world, because we all do. We all have to interact with the world one way or another, don't we? Whether it's in a job or with your family or friends, you know, the community around you, if you have to travel for work and all that sort of stuff. You know, we're all doing what we're doing. So we went up to the island of Arran, which I mentioned last time is on the northwest coast of Scotland. You know, it's beautiful. You drive up through Scotland for starters. There's some, you know, beautiful scenery to be seen. And because we were heading north, you know, there's not that much traffic, although we did actually travel on a bank holiday. There was hardly any traffic. And then you get on this ferry. You go on a ferry. It's only a short trip to Arran, so it's about an hour. And I'm sure some of you will have been, and you'll know what I'm talking about. You get on a Calmac ferry, and actually it's quite a new one on that run at the moment. It's not a cranky old grid like some of them are, held together by sort of sticking tape and painted over the rust. This was one of their new ones, and it was just fabulous. So we crossed the water on a mill pond and in sunshine, and it was incredible because the whole week was hot and sunny. We took wet weather gear, we took woolly hats, because usually you can go up in August for a summer holiday up on an island, usually further north, I have to say, but you know, and you need everything you take because it can be as wet and windy and cold as at home. But this week we hit the heat wave, didn't we? And I'm sure some of you will have been, or many of you will have been having the same heat wave. We didn't really hit the heat wave till we came back, I have to say. It was temperate on the island. It was hot, it was sunny, and we did have to go walks. You know, trying to find shade was quite an important thing, because I don't particularly like walking in a lot of hot sun. I don't think it's particularly good. So, but we had some really lovely walks just into the woodlands, you know, the wild woodlands, whether it's the plantations. They're not so attractive, but there are lots of lovely beech woodlands, sort of natural woodland areas. And the sea, oh my goodness, the sea where we were staying, we were right on the coast. You could walk out of the house and go down to the pebbly beach every morning. You could sit there and have your breakfast or your supper if you wanted to. Watch the sunset go down. You know, beautiful clean beaches, clean water. Jellyfish swimming. On the journey over we saw dolphins and jellyfish and all kinds of birds, seabirds. So that kind of set the tone for the holiday. And it's just my husband and myself, so we can please ourselves, and we just chose each day, got up and decided where we were going to go that day. We didn't do big walks, we did little, like 3 miles or something. And it was almost like every day we got slower. It was almost like we got slower and slower every day, because actually what we did was we stopped. Because we needed the shade, or I particularly needed the shade, we sort of stopped and sat and looked around and listened. My husband's quite keen on bird watching now, just, you know, not as an avid bird watcher, but, you know, he takes his, he has a monocular rather than binoculars, and I take my binoculars, and we'll just sit and go, oh look, there's a such and such, and there's another one, and you could sit and look at the seals sitting on the rocks sunning themselves. We saw an otter. What a great honour that was to see an otter in the sea. Just, I spotted it because you could see its tail. It's got a very you know, very, having been watching the seals, I knew it wasn't a seal because I could see its tail as it did some somersaults in front of us. And sitting in the woods, quietly eating our lunch. I thought there was somebody coming along the path next to us, but actually I turned, and out of the corner of my eye I just caught the sight of 2 deer just sort of scuttering off into the bushes. And we had a red squirrel in the garden. You know, it was absolutely idyllic and so beautiful and so peaceful. And it really, I think it recharges your batteries, doesn't it, when you go somewhere different and you're able to do something fairly peaceful. We avoided all the sort of touristy bits largely. Went one day to see the cave where apparently Robert the Bruce sat and looked at the spider, and that was quite a busy place. But again, we just sat by the sea afterwards, after we'd looked in the cave. It was all very exciting, dark in the cave, and you know, it was just lovely. I had such a peaceful time. Came back, hit the heat wave on the motorway, not so nice, but we got home, and now I've been doing the washing, getting sorted out. You know how when you go on when you go on holiday and you got to come back and sort out all the stuff that you took with you. And I'm just feeling my way back into my life, and it's been lovely this week. I hope you enjoyed last week's video. I kind of made it before I went so that you'd have something while I was away, because you won't even hardly have noticed I've been away because I was so clever with it all. I tried to sort of segue it so you had a video to watch while I was away this time. And I'm hoping what I'll do with this one is I'll show you some of the pictures from up there that I took. I didn't do any filming because it was really a holiday, but I'll show you some of my snaps that I took. It was irresistible. I mean, it was so beautiful. And being an artist, I just love to see, and I'm sure it's not just because I'm an artist. I'm sure lots of you like to take photographs of the seaweed and the shells, and I was very abstemious. I didn't bring a single shell home with me, which is a very rare thing, as I'm known in my family for, you know, filling my pockets with every possible little find on the beach, and I didn't. I thought I've got plenty at home. I did some drawing, I took some photographs, and that was it, and I didn't bring anything home with me, which is a very rare thing. And it felt quite good actually. I left them on the beach. We brought them into the house and sort of sat them on a ledge, you know, our little finds. Oh, look at this treasure, look at that treasure. And it was like I appreciated the treasures while we were there, and then I put them back on the beach where really they belonged, and that felt really quite nice. So one of the things I did though before I went away, when we were sort of getting ready, was I chose to make a cake. Now I haven't baked for absolutely years. I just went off baking completely, and it's as though part of my coming back to life, if you like, at this time, you know, experiencing all these new things, all these adventures and these new things that are popping up in my life for me. Baking came back on stream, and I just decided we were going to have some cake with us when we went on our walks. I thought it's such a lovely thing, isn't it, to eat homemade cake when you're out on a walk, a big slab of something. So I dug out, I've got a couple of books here which I'm going to show you. I dug out a very old book of mine. It's a Cranks recipe book. Some of you may have it on your bookshelf, I don't know, it's a pretty old one. But it was from the days when before all the healthy eating that there is now, all these, every bookshop will have fantastic books in now, all sorts of healthy eating, clean eating. Wholemeal flour then, pardon me, was just like, you know, it was a bit of a rare thing, you know, making something with wholemeal flour. And the recipe I chose to make was a very simple one. It used to be one I made for the family when my daughter was little, and it's a ginger cake, gingerbread, and I just thought, I had this vision of me on this walk, just sitting and eating some ginger cake out somewhere, you know, that was my ambition. But I also made a lemon cake, took that with us as well, and so we had something to go at, something in the tins, as my mum used to say, when we baked when we were kids. My mum always liked to have something in the tins for us to go at. And on a Sunday afternoon, me and my sister would often bake. We used to take it in turns, and she would go into the kitchen and make hundreds of things, and I'd go into the kitchen and make about 2. So, but I was quite proud of myself because I just about remembered how to bake. I managed to find the tins for baking the cakes in the cupboard, and I actually used some of our goose eggs. Now, you don't need many goose eggs to make a cake, I'll tell you, because they are so big. And I had to sort of try and work out an equivalent amount of what one hen's egg was to a goose egg. So I kind of did, I think I said a goose egg was about 3 eggs or something, 3 hen's eggs. So we made ginger cake, and that was just lovely. And we had a choice, in fact. I took ginger and lemon out with us. And, you know, there's nothing nicer after you've had your lunch just to sit there and go, well, you know, do you want a piece of cake? And when you're out there in the afternoon, my husband likes to take a flask with him, so there's a flask of tea, so tea and cake, eaten in the outdoors in a beautiful place, you know, isn't that just lovely? Just idyllic. And the other thing I was going to show you, when we got off the ferry and we were driving up north to where we were staying, which was on the north coast of Arran, there was a little sign at the side of the road that said bookshop. And I said, shall we? So we screeched to a halt. I don't know, it was about 5 o'clock at night by this time, by the time we got off the ferry. And this guy was open, just a little tiny bookshop, just this chap sitting there, and he had a dog sitting on the sofa next to him, and just stocked with lovely, delicious books. And again, I haven't really been reading a lot lately. I haven't read a lot of books for a long time, and I just felt the urge to buy myself a book. So I bought this one, and some of you may have read it. It's called Native. It's by a guy called Patrick Lorre, and it's very much, it's from 2020, so it's quite an oldish book now. But you know, when you open a book and it's just, it feels lovely, the paper's lovely, the cover is lovely, and it's crisp and new, and you're on your holidays. So I treated myself to this, and I just opened it up the first time I came to read it, and I was just absolutely hooked on it. If anybody else out there is into rewilding and, oh, I don't know, just looking at the countryside perhaps in a different way to the way we have done recently, you know, it's very much on a par of that. He's a guy who gets back into farming. He's born on Galloway, which is sort of, where are we? We're in Cumbria, and it's the lower part of Scotland. When you go across from Cumbria to Scotland, there's Dumfriesshire and there's Galloway. Now, I'd not really separated the two out so much until I read this book. It's about him farming with his cattle and trying to get back into mixed farming, and the effect it has on the land and the wildlife. And, you know, it's quite a tough book, but it's very beautifully written. It's quite poetic, but it doesn't pull any punches, but it's beautiful. I really loved it. So this was my treat. My holiday treat was going for walks every day, eating homemade cake. You know, there was delicious local food to buy, you know, and if you you look for it, and just fresh air. And what a very simple holiday we had, and it couldn't have been better, really. So I'm back at home. I've got lots of things going on. I've got exhibitions coming up. I've got I don't know, something in the windows in the local town we're going to be doing. Art everywhere. And I've really got to get moving on a few things. It's all very well going on holiday, but I've got to come back and do some stuff, which is lovely. And I will be doing soon, there'll be another creative video going up on my Substack at the beginning of, well, it's the end of the month, end of May, beginning of June. I'm doing up there, if you haven't been to my Substack, I invite you to go there. It's where I'm doing my creative videos, and yes, you have to pay for them, but that's because I suddenly decided I really needed to value myself and value what I do by charging for it. So that's the choice there, but you can also get for free, I do a monthly newsletter there. I call it, it's not really a newsletter, it's just like a post about life and stuff. And the idea is it's about connecting to yourself and connecting to the land and just, I don't know, just nice things, nice inspiration. So I invite you to go and have a look at that if you'd like to, if you've already been there and done some of the work we've been doing on the videos. We've been making sketchbooks and then working with the sketchbook. So if you're interested in that, the videos are there. You can join at any time and subscribe at any time, and you'll get access to the back issues of things. So I think that's all for today. It was really just kind of a catch up and a showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to leave you with a video of some cake baking this week. So I thought I'd share with you the recipe that I took with us on holiday to Scotland, and just show you roughly how I made it, just for something to watch and relax to. And I look forward to seeing you again next week, and who knows what's going to happen then. And I hope you'll have a good week. I hope you'll have a creative week and a peaceful week, and I hope you'll enjoy this gorgeous weather, and I'll see you again very soon.